I think that's good enough. Hey everybody, Guild Wars Buddy here. So we are now at episode 7. So before we begin, I just wanted to say, during the last stream we talked about Les Mystérieuses Cités d'Or, which was the French-Japanese show, anime, which was the first piece of anime I had ever seen. I put a link inside episode 6. So if you go back and you watch that, you can actually click on that link. There's also a link to the intro to the German-Canadian sci-fi show Lex. So if anybody's curious about those links are there. So today, at the moment, we don't have Magical Mike. I don't know if he's going to be coming and joining us. So we hit a bit of a wall. We're at the final, before last mission in Nightfall, and I don't want to push into that just yet, because I'm missing some heroes and whatever. When I hit that particular mission, to go back on the nostalgic route, this goes into how this series is true to how I played the game the first time and not. One, no, I didn't go into Nightfall, Eye of the North, sorry, to get extra heroes. I did, however, when I reached that mission, have to request help. I don't remember how well the wiki explained that mission, but it wasn't good. Fighting Shiro was particularly difficult, and it required a fair bit of um, tweaking of my build. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go into Eye of the North, and we're going to burn through the chunk that gets us to Livia. So we're going to go and get Gad today. So I believe Northern Allies, what's it called? I should have it. The Knowledgeable Asura. There we go. Journey through the Azuran Gate into Vloxen Excavation. So that's where we're going to be heading. Alright. So let's... Oh, we can't just leave the guild hall. We have to travel somewhere. So let's go to Lions... Can I go to Lions Ridge? No, let's go to Empire Beach first. We don't have to destroy our party and get there. Ooh, that took out a lot of the carbonation out of my drink. Alright, so quickest way of getting there, find the northern person. Where are you? There she is. And then we'll jump over there. So a few things to talk about today. So in the last episode, I mentioned that I would write to ArenaNet about their the fact that I don't have access to the Living Story. Season 3, I'm missing 3 parts to it, which I think is bullshit.
I've heard much of you.
So basically, what's happened is because of my job, I wasn't able to log in a few times during season 3, and I've missed out on 3 pieces of it. So now I have to pay 200 gems for every piece I missed, and I missed 3 pieces of it. So that's not that much money. Let's be honest here. That's not where I take issue with it. I take issue in the principle of I bought Heart of Thorns thinking, no, I'm going to play this content, Living Story, had every intention of logging in. I think that's kind of stupid. I think it's a money grab. I completely disagree with them charging 200 gems for it. And I'm missing 3 of them, so I'm missing 600 gems worth. And I also talked about how when I wrote to MechWarrior Online, which is Piranha Games, I wrote the same thing to them. I wrote to them right after I had activated some premium time, and I said, oh, by the way, I just got told I'm leaving for the next 4 months. Will not be able to play the game during this 4 months, so I've essentially lost 28 days of premium time. Is there any chance we can reset it, or so that I can have that later? And they wrote back, absolutely no problem, we totally get it, that sometimes your career is going to interfere with, the game, and you didn't know, so absolutely just send us, hey Odu, how's it going? Doing pretty good. How about you? So I when I got the reply, I was super happy. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then, fair enough, when I got back from C, um, I said, yeah, I was told to just write you guys, and you guys would give me back my premium time. And he said, absolutely, here you go. If you have any other problems, let us know. It was the quickest, simplest piece of customer service I ever got. Because you have to think about it from the point of view of what does it really cost them, you know, to give me the premium time? Nothing. They don't have to produce a CD. They don't have to. Um, they don't have to produce anything. It's not like they went out and farmed time and put it into. Can't complain, man. Just another Monday. Oh yeah, I'm going to keep doing this playthrough no matter what. And it was one of those things where I thought, yeah, well, really, it doesn't cost them anything. So why not just give me back my premium time, and that will be the end of it. They'll have, made a customer happy. They know I'm going to come back and play. And okay, they can't verify that I'm actually in the armed forces. Okay. They took it on trust. Maybe if I had written and I had said I'm a traveling salesman, they would have given it to me anyway. I don't know. I told Mike I'm going to send ArenaNet a message saying, hey, I'm in the Navy. I was unable to log in for 3 of the of the Living World stuff. Any chance you could waive the 600 gem fee? I did get a reply rather quickly. So good on ArenaNet for actually replying to my concern. It was in the negative. Mike won't be surprised. I don't know if I should reply to what they sent me, but essentially they said, yeah, who would lie about being in the armed forces? It's a pretty scummy thing to do. It happens all the time. We call it stolen valor, and you can look it up on YouTube. It happens, not on YouTube, on Facebook. It happens all the time. People dress up in uniform and like go to airports and pretend to like wait for their family. It's fucked. Anyways, there's a famous case about it because a guy dressed up as what was it? Was it an airborne guy? It made the news. Anyways, Gervais, I think was his last name. It was in Ottawa. And he gave an interview on television and everything, and everybody was looking at his uniform going, something is weird is going on with that guy's uniform. Something's just not right. And questions started to be asked, and they contact the armed forces, and the armed forces are like, we have no record of this person. So we're not saying he's telling a lie, but we don't know who you're talking about. So anyways, ArenaNet writes me back saying, yep, so we implemented this, 200 gem limit in this patch. Here is the patch notes for when we implemented this cost. You can purchase it using in-game gold, convert it to gems, or just buy the gems. No, there's no way for me to activate those living story pieces on my end. Hope this helps, and then that's it. So it's really sad that a free-to-play game, MechWarrior Online, whose sole method of making money is microtransactions, they were able to give me about $20 worth of content like that. They were just like, here's 20 bucks. Don't even think about it. Not a problem. Everything's cool. And then you have ArenaNet, who is a game I paid for, Guild Wars 2, and then I paid for Heart of Thorns. Their main market isn't it isn't a free-to-play game because fuck, I paid to play the game to begin with, and it would cost them nothing to give me 600 gems. It would be literally just, here you go, don't even think twice about it. I think this is one of the other quests. Because what is 600 gems to them? It's nothing, right? It has no value. Like I said earlier, they don't lose anything by giving me those gems. It's not like they produced food. It's digital content. So then I was talking to Mike. It was also like, oh well, you know, how much gold would that be? I said, well, you have to keep in mind, you know, I haven't had a chance to play Guild Wars 2 in a while. I don't have that much gold. I said, Guild Wars 2, I have like, I think I told them I had 26 gold, which is about how much I have. And it would cost, for 600 gems, somewhere along the lines of, what was it, like 112 gold, 120 gold, something around there. Yeah, Crichton, I never understood their decision to charge for past living stories. And yeah, Udu, they can will gems into existence. Like, nothing stops them from giving me gems. But it's one of those things where, nope, they don't wanna. And that's, you know, was that a higher up decision? Probably not. But it's interesting. I find it interesting that ArenaNet have such poor customer service that they couldn't ask even a secondary question, or they didn't even ask anything else of me. They were just like, no, we're not doing that. So I'm a bit disappointed. And I know, like, in all honesty, the amount of money I make, you know, putting $20 US, granted the Canadian dollar is not great right now, but putting $20 US into the game that would allow me to get not only enough gems for that, but, you know, get me started on enough gold to get the new armors and whatever. I could totally put that money in. But it's a principle, it's the principle of the thing that you're charging for content that, in my mind, I've already paid for. And if I had had a friend that I could have given the password to log in for me, you know, maybe that's what I should have done. I forget when I did do that, though. What game was it that I actually gave my... I remember people giving me their passwords so I could log in for them, but I can't remember what game it was. Was it Guild Wars 2? Or was it Guild Wars 1? I mean, yeah, you're right, Miss Crichton. Keeping players involved in their content makes them more likely to spend more money in game. And maybe they said, maybe their thought process is, if I'm not willing to put down 600 gems, I'm too cheap to give them money in the future. And I could see how their thinking goes there. But I don't want to sit here and complain about Guild Wars 2 and ArenaNet and them not willing to give me 600 gems, which is essentially what I was asking for. I haven't shared my passwords for anything like that since RuneScape. And yeah, this is just poor service from ArenaNet. I can't remember which... Was it Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2? But I remember having to log in with other people's passwords to help them get certain certain items. I remember helping some people with jumping puzzles during so yeah, jumping puzzles means it has to be Guild Wars 2. And I think it was the Halloween jumping puzzle. So if content is behind a skill wall, then it's behind a skill wall and it should be blocked. Content in my mind shouldn't be behind a paywall if I've already paid. If there was a way of me just logging in and getting the content for free, then I should just have access to it, and you shouldn't be charging me for it. So it's a touchy one. The fact that he posted me to the point where he the patch notes where they implemented this cost was such bullshit, though. I don't understand what they're like. Well, look, you knew about this when you bought the game, so therefore you're an idiot. It's like, Oh, Miss Crichton actually remembers that I had helped some guild members with a Halloween puzzle, yeah. It's funny how I don't even remember it. But it's one of those things where, you know, here's where we implemented this change. You're aware of it, and you're still playing the game, therefore you implicitly agree with it. It's like, I don't agree with this at all. I don't agree with your microtransactions. Are you crazy? I don't agree with the way you're charging people. But that's your business model. And I have to take that into consideration going forward. And one of the things, I won't name her on. I won't name all the people I helped on stream. But it's just Mike and I were talking about whether or not you should believe or read it when they tell you something, and I was complaining about guild halls back when Guild Wars 2 was about to come out. There were forum posts about it and all this stuff, and they said that we were going to get guild halls. And Guild Wars 2 absolutely was going to be there, blah blah blah. Forum posts about it. It was one of the rare occasions where I actually read forum posts, and I'll get to your question in a moment, Odu. And then as it went on and on and on and on and on, and then the game was released, and then within about 3 months, there was a thread that was like, yeah, we've been asking them about guild halls, why aren't they coming out? And they've indicated no one's working on this at the moment, so this is not something that is going to be happening in the short term. And it ended up only being announced as a feature in Heart of Thorns. Like, that's disappointing to go for that long without an answer, to be told that yeah, that's going to be coming, and it isn't. And then Mike was explaining that, they said, oh, there's going to be X amount of legendaries coming out in Guild Wars 2, and that they haven't released in Heart of the Thorns, and they haven't even been all released yet. And then the next expansion's already coming out, but the chances are they're not going to come out with all the legendaries they said they were going to come out with prior to the expansion coming out. So, like, what was the point? Why did you promise them something and you can't deliver, but you expect us to believe you on your next promises? So if my rationale for buying the next expansion comes down to a critical thing that they're promising is going to be there, I'm not going to believe that they're actually going to deliver it. What do I think of the state of Guild Wars 2 right now? I'm not the person to ask, in part because I haven't played in a long time. When Heart of Thorns came out, I had a little bit of time. I played some of it. I got not too far in it, probably about 5-6 hours in, and then had to stop. I've been told Living Story, the Living World, was a lot better. However, big asterisks, you have to pay for it. So if you were to go into it right now, you wouldn't have access to that part of content, which sucks. Miss Crichton in the chat there is a good person to ask because she's actually active versus me. I've logged into Guild Wars 2. My plan is to play it, especially since this series is going forward. Is going quicker than I thought it would. So probably before my parental leave is over, I'm going to get a chance to play a good chunk of Guild Wars 2. Is it worth starting fresh? If you only played 2 hours, I mean, it's worth you going in and just playing the regular game through. I mean, if you already own that content, go and definitely play through it because it's worthwhile. Heart of Thorns, don't know.
Who sent you?
I played through my first playthrough of Guild Wars. We kind of rushed through the first time. And then when we got to the final mission, it was broken. It took months for them to fix it. At launch, the game was not amazing. The story was kind of broken in my mind. Wooden Potatoes did a fairly... He eviscerated the story in a review. I'd have to find the exact link, but he tore it a new one. If you want to look at later content, Magical Mike did a number of fairly good reviews of the living seasons as they went through. Again, Wooden Potatoes, like these are the two YouTubers. You have to understand that because I know them personally, and I respect their opinion, and sometimes flail not in a long time, but Magical Mike for sure. I've gotten input into his opinion, right? So he's like put forward his opinion, and then I've countered it. He says, I think ArenaNet's doing this, and then I've countered. So his argument in my mind is robust because it survived a discussion. You know what I mean? If your argument is just you thinking out loud, you know, there's biases in the way you think, and the way that there's a filter over your eyes. Mike tends to be a little bit more pessimistic. Everyone has their own take, Miss Crichton's saying. Yeah, give it a try again. I think Guild Wars 2, just the base game, is worth playing, especially if you already own it. If you don't already own it, if it's on special, I would definitely get it. I think you'll get enough gameplay out of it. If you're going to play it because you think it's going to have the same story strengths of Guild Wars 1, like if you know the lore of Guild Wars 1 very well, if you've kind of fallen in love with this universe or everything, then no, it's not as worthwhile. In large part because it's a reboot. When you think about it, it's 250 years in the future, and it eliminates most of the lore immediately. Some places have the same name, and they'll sometimes vaguely reference previous people that you know. You know what I mean? It's funny because we were talking about reboots just the other day, me and Mike, and we were talking about how... What do you call it? We were talking about like Fallout, and we were talking about... What's the other reboot? Oh yeah, Mass Effect. And I was explaining how I'd waited a long time to play Mass Effect 3, because I had loved 1 and 2 so much, and I'd heard bad things about the ending, and I'd heard that they were going to fix them, and so I waited a long time before going into Mass Effect 3. And then Mass Effect Andromeda's come out, and he asked me, oh, are you going to play it? I said, well, I'm going to wait until they fix all the problems, and then I'm going to play it. I'm not one of those people that needs to be an early adopter, because I don't want to play through a broken game. It doesn't appeal to me in any way. But I'm looking forward to the next expansion with to see what they're going to do with going into parts of Ilona. Now, granted, as we spoke about yesterday, if it's just going to be going into the Desolation, it's going to be quite boring. What's Miss Crichton saying? I'm in World v. World a lot, though I have fun, even though it's a neglected game mode. Like, there was a period there where World vs. World was amazing, where I played it. I saved up money, the guild saved up money to buy commander tags so that we could go in there and have an actual impact in World vs. World in PvP, and then they abandoned the game type. It got real bad. And it was really sad it was I didn't play much PvP in Guild Wars 1. It was something that I remember there were some guild members that only played PvP. They never finished the game of Guild Wars in what they call PvE. They never played the storyline. They just didn't care. They're like, no, my thing is is player versus player, guild versus guild, and that's all I'm playing. So to me, the fact that they kind of abandoned World versus World and didn't fix all the problems with it, or the balance issues, etc., is really disappointing. And it was one of those rare things. Like I said, I didn't play PvP in Guild Wars 1, but in Guild Wars 2, I actually gave it a try. I started to enjoy it. The guild was enjoying it, and so I decided to play it. We had events. I remember joining some streams that people were doing. Law was pretty much PvP only, yeah. And some people, that's all they did. So it sucks to see a game give up on a piece of a community to just go, look, this is gonna take too many man hours to fix. Yeah, it was a promise we made, but fuck it. And yesterday I didn't really get a chance to talk about this, but if you want to talk about developers that gave up on their fans, Godus. What the fuck? What a weird place for me to rubber band to. If you haven't heard of Godus, for the love of God, don't buy it, whatever you do. It was made by 22 Cans. It was a Kickstarter by Peter Molyneux. And now immediately half of you went, oh fuck, Peter Molyneux, that guy. He was making the new God game. It was the new Black and White. It was going to be the new God game that came out. He promised the world on the Kickstarter. And it was going to be a PC God game. So everybody said, oh, PC God game, fuck, that's going to be amazing. Peter Molyneux, yeah, fuck, I remember Black and White 2 and Populous, and let's totally do it. After they had the Kickstarter money and they had raised way more than they needed, they started selling it as early access on Steam. And that's when I locked in. I went, oh yeah, here we go. I love Black and White, let's play this game. So I started playing this game. Then they announced, oh yeah, by the way, we're turning it into an iOS game, a free-to-play, like, game you play on your phone. And then we're going to charge money for gems. And everybody went, wait a second. You took Kickstarter money, you took Steam Early Access money. Oh, it says, oh yeah, it's the same game. It's just if you're playing it on your phone, you're going to get charged up the ass for everything you do. And if you play it on PC, everything that would cost extra is going to be free. I was like, okay. It's like on the phone it's time gated, but on your computer it's not. Just a way of screwing people out of their money. But then it became clear from the developers that that was their intention right from the start. They had no intention of making a PC exclusive or PC game. Really what they wanted to make was a freemium game on the phone to rake in tons of money. So a lot of people felt lied to. And then the game like languished. It didn't go very well. They kept taking out features, and it went back and forth until eventually they just gave up on the game completely. They just stopped production. Peter Molyneux ceased being like the lead designer. They brought in another guy. That guy quit, and it just went downhill and downhill and downhill until they closed their support desk. They're still selling it on Steam Early Access, and they have no intention of releasing the game. Like, the game is permanently in beta for the last 2 years. So it's just, it drives me mad. So ArenaNet's not that bad. They actually released Heart of Thorns. They actually have done some of what they said they were going to do. But from, in my view, World versus World is one of those kind of abandoned vestigial parts of Guild Wars 2 that had a lot of potential. That I think they owe it to the player base, especially the PvP player base, to fix. Oh man! So by the time I got to this point in the game, so I was I waited the release of Eye of the North. So I had come into the game fairly late. Like I said, shortly after the release of Nightfall, then I had played through Factions, then I had played through Prophecies. Um, so at this point, I'm fairly invested in the game. I really enjoyed it. And then they said Eye of the North is coming out. And this brought back a whole bunch of people from into the guild that had stopped playing, or that were just waiting for Eye of the North and Hard Mode and all that jazz to come back. And so we all bought like I think if you pre-purchased the game, you had access to the content 3 days early or something. I have to remember exactly what the launch was like, but I remember on launch night, we didn't sleep. Mike and I talked about this. For Guild Wars 2, we did the same thing. Basically, we're gonna play this game to death, and we rushed forward. And so this stuff, there's a lot of this that I should focus on this monk because he's driving me nuts. We pushed forward quite quickly and finished the game, Eye of the North and all its content, rather quickly, with the exception of the dungeons, of course, which took a little bit longer to do. And then some people started grinding out the titles, and then Urson Way started becoming a way of farming. Oh, that was interesting. But every time there was an exploit like that, what was funny was, because I was busy with my life, on weekends I could push forward, but then during the week I kind of languished. By the time I ever got around to using something like Urson Way, or there was a few other PvE only skills that people were using. We were using the Drunken dungeons to do stuff, and every time something like an exploit came out, I found myself kind of behind, because by the time I got to it, it had been nerfed, or it had been taken out of the game, or but shortly after Eye of the North released came also the end of Eye of the North, because it was a good amount of content for the price. I think Eye of the North was a lot of end game content, even though it was rather short. Like we went through it pretty quick, and I remember some people trying to savor it. They said, "Oh no, when Nightfall came out, we burned out on that really fast, so we're gonna keep it slow." It didn't always work. Doesn't matter how slow you go through some of this content, you're gonna burn through it rather quickly.
Never anger a Norn.
Never anger a Norn. So do I have enough yet for... I don't even have the first level of Norn title track, which is sad. Oh, the Verdant Cascades. I remember some of these areas were just... this blew my mind. Now keep in mind when I talked about this in the previous streams about how I loved green. I loved green. I felt that most of the game was never as beautiful as it needed to be. When it was beautiful, it was an area that you kind of skipped or didn't stay in very long. Prophecies, most of the jungle is completely optional. You can completely skip it. I forget somebody yesterday was talking about how you really only need to do like 4 missions in Prophecies, and you can win. You just need somebody to run you. You don't even need someone to run you for some of it. You can literally just walk it, and it isn't particularly difficult. Especially if you're a Nightfall character and you've already got all these heroes, and you're level 20. I mean, you don't have to do any of these missions you don't want to do. So I found that interesting. But it also meant that, the Maguma jungle, or if I look at the map here and I zoom out, this whole area of the map in Nightfall in Prophecies, it can be completely bypassed. A good chunk of this area can be completely bypassed. You spend almost no time in the desert. It's just... And like I said, for Nightfall, a lot of the lush, beautiful landscape is in Istan, and then when you're in the rest of the time, you're in the desert, you're in Vabi, or you're in the Desolation, or in the Realm of Torment. And that kind of blows, you know what I mean? It's just not very pretty. So when we got here for the first time, I mean, yeah, the north and the snow and everything. I grew up in snow, okay? I'm not impressed by snow. Snow does not impress me. But when I got here, I was blown away. I was like, finally some fucking trees and some waterfalls and enemies and oh, look at this bridge and the floating islands. Where are the floating islands? They're supposed to be here, right? I forget if we see some here. Is it really just in the loading screens? No, there's a place where there's floating islands. Must be further along then. I also love the bounties. So that every zone had that Lightbringer effect. Because I spoke about this in the stream when we got to Korna, that I felt that when you got to Korna, if you destroyed a fortress, you should get a bonus in that area. You know what I mean? And here you got bonuses when you killed a certain amount of enemies. You got a bonus saying, "Hey, look, like you've been in this area and you've killed enough of these enemies that you're kind of like an expert in how to kill them. So here's a little thing that makes you stronger, a little thing that gives you more energy, a little thing that gives you more health." And I like that mechanic. I think that makes sense. I think Fallout has that mechanic as well. If you kill a certain amount of insects, you get like a 5% damage boost to killing insects, like Bug Stomper or something. Same thing with a lot of wildlife, and so. Oh look, another Buka.
Here comes trouble.
Most of the enemies, I have to say, in Eye of the North, I didn't feel were radically different from the enemies I had encountered in the rest of the game. I don't want to say they were just like reskinned or anything like that. I didn't feel a lot of them added any really interesting dynamics. That's until I hit the first Ceratodon. The first Ceratodon, that really hurt because I didn't expect it at all. It was still an enemy. I didn't expect the Ceratodon at all. I was like, oh yeah, just another enemy. Yeah, it'll be fairly easy. And then he does sliver armor, and I watched my entire party just get wiped. I thought, wow, okay, this is new. Was not expecting that. The new skins in the area, though, I was really impressed with that. There's a few decent looking axes and shields that came out with this one. Can't remember all of them. There was a few of them that looked pretty cool. Rampage bonus. Which is funny because we don't have anything else to fight until we get out of this area. But now I'm remembering where we're going. The what's it called? Verdant Cascades is where we are now. We have to go through the dungeon first, and then we get to the falls. Umbral Falls? Unless it's Umbral Falls. I don't want to talk to you. But you.
Why are you bothering me?
Yeah, 20 more points. Umbral Grotto. Man, talk about empty, huh? One person in this entire zone. Hello. But I don't need to talk to you. I just need to go right through. I love these, by the way, the Vloxed excavation. I love the underground. The fact that you could go in and that there was a dungeon and then you could go back in and it was a completely separate kind of instance. I thought that was such a smart way of, because I've said this before and I'll say it again, you know, there's areas in this game that get underutilized. So some poor schmuck had to design an entire dungeon or an entire area. It gets used for like a side quest and then it's never seen again. But the person who had to develop some of the dungeons in Eye of the North, they're like, okay, look, we're gonna use it twice. We're gonna use it for a mission where you kind of go through the area, so it's gonna have these kinds of enemies, and then we're gonna use it again for a dungeon where you go back in, and now it's different. I thought that made way more sense. I hate these things. I hate these things so much. All right, let's see if we can. We'll see if we can kill them. Hopefully, we can kill them. But I remember this being a pain in the ass. It's hard to tell if everything's going well or if it's going horrible. These fucking spores. No! These stupid spores. Okay, good. This is going as bad as I thought. Here was probably the first instance that I knew that Eye of the North was going to be radically different from Guild Wars, Eye of the North. Sorry, that Eye of the North is going to be radically different from Nightfall Prophecies and Factions, and that's the sequence that's about to happen. Now, if you don't remember what's about to happen, you know, you're not the only one. Let's flag my heroes right here, and let's move forward. Yeah, I never saw this coming. I think I have to poke this guy. No? When does it happen? Maybe it's not now? Alright, let's move forward, and if it happens, I'll flag my heroes, hopefully in time, to save their lives. Oh, here they come. Get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. You useless Elias. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that in the other games before this point, and that blew my mind. I was like, guys, so cool. You just think you're gonna move forward like normal, and then Boulder comes out of nowhere and crushes you. I think it killed my entire team the first time I went through this area. I think like only one person survived. Which doesn't sound that funny, but it was pretty amusing. Beacon of Draknor. One of the things I had, not trouble understanding, but I didn't have the same connection as other people had to the dwarves. Because I had started with Nightfall, and I had, just recently played through Prophecies, most of my characters were Nightfall characters that had gone to Prophecies just to do a couple missions, get fused armor, stuff like that. I didn't have a lot of characters that played through the Prophecies campaign, which meant I hadn't really encountered the dwarves that much. I didn't have that crazy connection that some other people had. So when we encountered the dwarves here, I was like, ah, that's kind of cool, dwarves. They were never in Nightfall or in faction, so like, whatever, dwarves. Nothing's particularly strange here, but I can imagine that somebody who had played through Prophecies with all their characters and encountered the dwarves a whole bunch and knew that whole story arc, thought that that was amazing. That was, right up there. Something that they had wanted, a continuation. Whatever happened to the Stone Summit? What happened to the dwarves and the Shiver Peaks? Did their fight continue? And this goes back to, I forget who it was asking me about the war in Kryta. But yeah, absolutely. And the reason you want to be able to do that is to, like, what's the epilogue to that story? Like, what happens next? So, I mean, I'm interested in Guild Wars 2 with the living story, but again, because I missed out on parts of it, you also feel, do I really know what's going on?
Why are you bothering me?
Am I connected to these people? And I don't want to end up in the same situation where all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, look, the dwarves, or oh, look, the whatever, oh, that's amazing. And I'm sitting there going, whatever. I talk to you, like, why don't you don't say anything?
I'm busy.
I'm just gonna go through. Oh, we're at the quests. We are pushing forward in the quest. Alright, Vlox Falls. And this is where we take Livia's quest. Finding Gad.
Let me think. Here comes trouble.
Alright, let's take Finding Gad, because that's what we're doing. We're going to go get ourselves Livia, so that we can move forward in this campaign. Huzzah. So we don't have enough points for Azura yet. Anyways, we'd have to be further along. And not many people in here. Oh, we're in the English district. There's people with a lot of characters there next to their names. Arbor Bay. The roaming enemies in this area were just a nightmare. I remember the first time coming into this map thinking, oh, whatever, map like any other. Ooh, trees, and being impressed by the trees. And then hitting the first roving band of enemies. These fucking snakes. And being like, what do you mean they're changing shape halfway through and getting all their health back? It's like that guy was level 18, now he's level 24. I thought this was an interesting mechanic, but I thought it was cheap. I remember not liking it. Now we're not going to go to the tree. Everybody knows about the tree, and the tree's there, and blah blah, whatever the tree. I don't really care that much about it. I'll let the minions deal with that group. I don't want to say I was disappointed with the Sylvari, but the Sylvari weren't what I expected them to be. I don't know exactly what I was expecting of the Sylvari, but it wasn't that. And I was disappointed that the main character in Guild Wars 2 was the Sylvari. I'd be curious though, if you go back and you play through Guild Wars 2, does the game change Lion's Arch at the start? Or like how do they explain that? Is it just a separate instance and every time you go there it's just empty of people? And so in order to see the real Lion's Arch you have to, you know, to see people and have interactions with other people to do jumping puzzles together. Like, is that completely broken, or how does that work? Another question to ask Mike. So right now in the news, I don't know if anybody knows, there's some flooding in my home province of Quebec. So I'm watching that unfold on television. I say television, I really mean the occasional time my wife turns on the television. Most of the time I read it on Google News. There's some flooding right now. It's pretty bad, which sucks. The army's been called in. Of course, the city waited a long time before calling the army, so now the army is being criticized for arriving late, which is just... You have to understand, like, for example, I work on a ship. You can't just decide to take the ship and move the ship. You know, it's not up to us to decide we're going to go somewhere and provide assistance. We have to be called in. And the same thing with the army. You can't just call in the army and say, hey, come in and bring us a whole bunch of help. Sorry, they can't just decide to do that on their own. Because people don't like that. People don't like tanks rolling up and down the streets. I say tanks, I mean APCs, but people really don't like that. So it's one of those things where we'll kind of have to wait till the province says yes, we want help, or the city says yes, we want help, and the federal government says yes, okay, guys who are on standby, go. And then we go, well, how many people are we sending? And then they ended up sending 400. Now people are saying it's not enough. So now they're looking at increasing the number to 1,200. But I have a hard time taking critique of the armed forces when I know how handcuffed they are to what they can and can't do. I mean, told like, why are they here so late? Well, because you didn't ask for help prior. We were on standby, ready to go. But we just couldn't come right now. It's like when one of our ships was near New Zealand. Went in and helped because we were requested. We couldn't just, you know, bring a warship into New Zealand off the port, land our sailors ashore and start helping people. You know, in a lot of countries that'd be seen as an act of war. Yeah, Canadians randomly dropped off troops into another Commonwealth country. It's like, well, we're making good progress for getting Livia, which is good. haven't even encountered any enchanted weapons yet. The enchanted weapons was probably one of the stranger enemies that yeah, it was one of the stranger enemies. I didn't like them at all. The wolves I had seen before and a lot of these undead guys I had seen before. Oh man, see, this is interesting. Because now we know so much more about ore. See, I never made this link. Decayed ore armor, and this is something that we scavenged for a lot, I remember. But we're not anywhere near ore, are we? Oh yeah, I guess we are. I mean, this is ore. And I guess if something washed ashore, this is where it would come ashore. Yeah, okay. These weapons, these weapons were so annoying. Especially the dungeon that we're gonna go do with the Bloodstone to get Livia, the Etten. Yeah, the Etten that we're gonna fight there surrounds himself with those enchanted weapons. Is this the right way? Yes. Oof, oof. I got hit hard. Just got wiped. You know, replaying through just part of Eye of the North, I realize, you know, especially in the mindset of the nostalgia of what was it like the first time I went through this zone. I'm realizing, you know, just thinking ahead of what we're going to encounter, of how much Eye of the North was really just an homage to the whole series. You know, how it tipped its hat at everything that was done in Guild Wars so far. And I guess because Guild Wars finished on this note, you know, the dragons are introduced at this point. I always assumed Guild Wars 2 would do that as well, be more of an extension homage to Guild Wars itself, to its storyline, to its characters, to its... And I guess that's what was disappointing with Guild Wars 2 when it released for me, was that it wasn't that at all. It was almost like a complete reboot, because it took place 250 years in the future. I remember the first time somebody told me it was going to take place in the future by, you know, a fair amount of time. I was immediately disappointed. Because I thought, man, they're abandoning just a huge chunk. There's a lot of things that we're not going to get a chance to really experience, because it's just going to be meaningless that far into the future. Now, if they had jumped a generation, like 30 years in the future, 40 years in the future, it would have been good enough. But I think it was too much of a jump. It was just too big of a leap. Now it stands on its own feet, right? Separate from Guild Wars 2, but you have to see it from the eyes of somebody who is playing Nightfall and Eye of the North, and think, Eye of the North went back and dealt with Tyria and factions and Nightfall, kind of dealt with all of it a little bit. touched on a little bit of everything, and then it introduced new things such as the Azura, the Char being not as just insanely evil, but kind of a party that you could not manipulate but negotiate with. Alright, we made it all the way to Gad's encampment, make good progress. Walking Mosriel. Waking Mosriel. Okay. And then I talk to you.
Are you still here?
I'm finding Gad, man. Finding Gad. Alright, did I do this right? I remember I've done this before. Join Livia and Gad in Sparkfly. Okay, I've done this before where I fucked this up so bad. I've gone in and I didn't have the right quest and screwed up or whatever, so I'm just making sure that I don't take Gorin by accident like I did the other day. Oh, man. Alright, let's go. Hey, where's the... Oh, there he is.
You need me? I'm busy.
I think I remember speculating about the Azura and how... Because one of the things that was talked about with the release of Guild Wars 2 was how the races would have inherent abilities, and I had complained saying that I disagreed that that should be a thing. Like, it made sense. Like, I remember saying it made sense to do this, but I said I also disagreed with it. And part of my reasoning was why it made sense is the Azura are, fairly small in stature. They don't have huge muscles. It doesn't make sense that they would do as much damage as a human or a Norn wielding a sword or an axe. Like that, just right off the bat. And then it was suggested that they might ride on top of golems like this. And I kind of went, okay, it's kind of weird, but then am I really the one doing the damage, or is it my golem? You know what I mean? I guess it doesn't really matter, but does that mean I have to go everywhere atop a golem if I'm a warrior? That's gonna suck. Keep in mind, like, none of this stuff happened. This was the speculation as we were going forward, and we were just being given snippets of what might happen, based on what we knew of Guild Wars 1. But I remember complaining, saying, no, if I want to be a human warrior, I shouldn't be at a disadvantage over the Norn, because the Norn are bigger and stronger. I said that I don't like that. If I want to play a min-maxed character, then I'm kind of forced as a necromancer, let's say, to play as a Sylvari, or let's say I'm going to be a Mesmer. I have to be an Azura, or I didn't know what the limitations were going to be, but there was a fear there. It ended up being completely unfounded, and most of the elites or the race-specific skills were completely useless in the end, and so nobody gave a fuck, which is sad. I was happy, but at the same time there was missed potential there for doing something interesting.
Be careful.
These kinds of deliberately annoying characters I had a big issue with, because to me deliberately annoying is just as annoying as annoying. You don't win points by saying, oh yeah, we meant Jar Jar Binks to be horribly annoying. No. Purposefully annoying is still annoying. And so Gad being a complete dick, like, why? Why did you guys feel the need to do that? It was unnecessary. It would have been just as, oh god, which one is that? Let's get these guys killed quickly. I mean, these guys are kicking my ass. I can only imagine what the Mordrin over there that the T-Rex is going to do to me when he gets here. That's twice now I die, and here comes Mordrin. Party wipe. It's humbling, you know? It's humbling to not have the perfect build and to be out here. You know, even though I've kind of like maxed out most of my heroes and they're pretty good, and the builds aren't terrible. It's humbling to get your ass handed to you every now and then by just regular characters not in hard mode. I mean, granted, I don't have a defensive build on at the moment, but I am missing some of the key skills that would make this build better, like save yourself. Which will become available later on. Alright, can I kill Mordrin? This is the question. Can I? Mobrin, then. Okay, here we go. Okay, he's not that bad. Hard mode, I remember him being a huge pain in the ass. Be careful. Come on, Livia, let's go. Alright, let's finish off these fucking Necros that killed me last time. Legit Guild has won the Battle of Hall of Heroes. Oh, I've been seeing a lot of the legit guys. They just won the Hall of Heroes. That's nice. Trying to remember what other areas had these roving groups, these huge patrol patterns. You know, because before you get to Vlox's Falls, I don't think other areas in Nightfall or factions had these kinds of huge patrol patterns. Chat and Twitch is really quiet tonight.
Another booker.
Oh, great, another Puka. Skull Scythe. Skull Spear, sorry. Yeah, those raptors are gonna come and hit me later, I think. Or right now. Nope. Let's kill this inscribed dead. This mission. Oh, here come the raptors. Damn it! I can't remember who it was in the Time Guild. I know Lulandra and Umbra both did this, but they called the Flesh Golem Fluffy. And it was one of those. It was just one of those skills that every time somebody used it, we referred to the Flesh Golem as Fluffy. That was a tough skill to get, though. I remember that on my Necro, which was my second character ever in playing Guild Wars. And somebody had said, yeah, minion masters, like player minion masters are rare. And so I said, oh, well, that's perfect. That's what I want to play. I want to play whatever is going to be most helpful to the guild. I already have a tank, but there's other tanks. So what should I play? And somebody had suggested, I said, what is there the least of in the game? And they said Necros. And I went, oh, okay, well, I'll just play Necro then. Started up a Necro. It was interesting. I enjoyed, picking a target and making usually that person's life hell. And there was pools and curses. And I love the energy management of, as fights came to their end, I would get tons more energy and I could hit up all my skills again. And it was an interesting mechanic, and I really enjoyed it. After having played Warrior for my first playthrough. But then I needed Flesh Golem, which, if memory serves, is in a really strange spot in factions somewhere in the city. And it was a nightmare to get. It was just a nightmare to get. It was not easy. It took me quite a while. I died a number of times. And then somebody said, no, what you really need is Spiteful Spirit. And I went, okay, where do I get Spiteful Spirit? And that one's in Prophecies, and basically during the Drox run. And keep in mind, I haven't even, by this point, I've played a little bit of Prophecies on my Warrior. Me getting there on my Necro was a horrible experience. It took forever. It was very difficult. And then nobody explained to me that he doesn't always spawn. So I'd go out, kill him, try to cap the skill, go, that's not the skill I need. Rinse, repeat. I think I did that like 5 or 10 times. It was horrible. And then when I finally got it, it was like we didn't need it anymore. I didn't need a Necro with Spiteful Spirit. The heroes would be good enough. Alright, Gad. Open this door up. What does it say to do next? Return to the entrance of the Bloodstone Cave. Alright, I'm at the entrance of the Bloodstone Cave. This is where it tells me to go. And this has happened to me before. I get here
Let's travel.
and what am I doing wrong here? Vex here, Gad's here. Let's get Gad closer to the inscription. There you go. Fucking
You
hell.
need me?
Find a Gad. Did you stop? Okay. Okay. Then he deciphers the inscription. And then I click on the inscription. I accept the reward. Okay, so now we get a new quest. Finding the Bloodstone. Invoke the inscription stone to unlock the path to the Bloodstone. Finding the Bloodstone. Complete it. Okay. Because I remember once I came here and I went all the way up to the door, then the door opened, I went through the door, and that was not the right thing to do. And got through a good chunk of the, that dungeon before realizing, oh shit, I'm in the wrong spot. Doing the wrong content. Alright, yeah, let's go. There's a number of people in the guild that didn't like spiders and they hated this part. Recently I went through something that's called exposure therapy, which is a cognitive behavioral therapy to deal with phobias. I don't want to get too into it, but essentially I had a phobia of being drowned, not being able to breathe, called asphyxophobia, caused in part because I was essentially waterboarded. It's a long story, I don't want to get into it. However, it was something I didn't think had affected me as much as it did, and then I went through the exposure therapy, and it's such a simple, quick way of dealing with a phobia. I was absolutely amazed by how quickly you get results. We did it by just gradually increasing the things that were making me anxious about wearing confining equipment, and the anxiety dropped like a stone. I don't think this is the way. I think it's down the other way. Yeah, it is east, as he says. But then we talked about another methodology that we could have used, which didn't sound fun at all, called flooding. And that's where you expose yourself to the thing that you're afraid of in a controlled environment, and you know what's going to happen, and you deal with the anxiety as it comes up. The problem with doing flooding is you run the risk, if the person can't handle it and leaves the room, stops the therapy, they'll reinforce it it'll reinforce in their head that avoiding is good and avoiding works. And doing so basically brings you back to the start of therapy. Not a good thing. But for small phobias like arachnophobia, that's actually one of the ways they recommend doing it, is just flooding. You just go into a room with somebody who, a therapist, and they'll tell you, okay, so your anxiety is gonna go up, it's gonna spike, you're gonna tell me, and then we're gonna stay in here until the anxiety drops to 0. And what happens to people is the anxiety goes up, and remember, I'm not a therapist, by the way, I'm just somebody who went through this therapy, not flooding, but the anxiety goes up, and what people think is that the anxiety will continue to climb at the rate that it's climbed so far, and that's not how anxiety works. It does top out. When it does top out, you have to stay within that anxiety level, and then over time it'll decrease. There are different ways of getting it to decrease, but basically what you're trying to do is teach the body that it's not going to die, because that's what anxiety feels like. As it goes up, your body thinks you're going to pass out, it thinks you're going to hyperventilate, it thinks you're going to die. And so that's what people fear. But if you do have a phobia, I highly recommend you see a therapist and that they give you exposure therapy. I thought it went amazingly well. That being said, parts of it were no fun. It's no fun to purposefully put yourself in a stressful situation. But consider this: working out sucks. Going for a run, going for a jog, going for a long hike. There are people that are addicted to doing that. I get it. But for most people, that stuff is terrible. It hurts, makes you feel uncomfortable, you get sweaty. You know, the next day your body's sore. But this is the way to a healthy life. If you want to live a long time, it's something you have to do. It's unpleasant, but it's something you have to do in order to live long, reduce cholesterol, increase your cardiovascular system, reduce the risk of heart disease, reduce the risk of certain cancers, etc. Lifestyle diseases are horrible. They have simple cures, but the cures aren't necessarily fun. And the same thing with, I think the same is true of mental health. It might not be fun to have to experience anxiety every now and then, but it may be necessary for good mental health. Every now and then, to, under controlled conditions, challenge something that frightens you. I hate the incubuses. I hate them. I don't like the fact that they fly back up and become like invulnerable. Like my casters can't hit them. Like, are you serious? Like, that's the thing that really bothered me about that. Is that my casters should still be able to hit them, and I got turned around and I have no idea where I'm going. I'm going in this direction. Okay. Well, a few more incubus to go, I believe. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? So we're like right here. There they are. Like, I 100% agree that the incubus should be able to fly out of my physical attack range or something. Or, there's a 50% chance of missing them with my sword or something like that. A la Final Fantasy does that as well, right? If you play Final Fantasy X, is the clearest one that comes to mind. Wakka with his ball, that's his whole shtick. Is like, oh yeah, for flying creatures, here's your go-to. That or use magic. Alright, so before we go in and do this, I am going to have to hit the heads. So let's take a 60-second break. And we'll be back. Let's dance. Let's dance. Dance with our minions. rushing to combat like a crazy person. Which is funny, because in this one you actually have to do exactly that. The quickest way of dealing with this guy is to just take out the Ettin and not deal with the bazillion of things that spawns up. Come on. Come on. Before everything spawns. Before everything spawns. He's halfway. Come on, people. Alright, good. You know, I always assume things are going to take longer than they are going to. Here we are, almost done getting Livia. I thought that was going to take pretty much the entire stream. We're only halfway through. We're probably going to get to finish Nightfall tonight. Maybe. We're going to see. I don't know how killing Shiro is going to work. I don't remember. I don't have Pain Inverter. I don't have a lot of the skills that I might need to do that. I'm trying to remember what skill we can use, because you have to get him out of his stance, don't you? So I don't have like you move like a dwarf, which was a knockdown. I think I have shove, which I could use. I think wild blow might be another one that could get him out of his stance. Now, I don't want to... It's not that I don't believe that there are caves of this size in real life. I understand that... And I remember complaining about this when I went through Eye of the North the first time. Like, look at the size of this chasm. Look at this. Seriously? Like the dwarf stuff, okay, excavated by master craftsmen, blah blah blah. Sure, but this place? Really? There's tons of dungeons in Eye of the North where, you know, the size, the scope of the area makes no sense, and you know, I think it's just something they have to do in order for the camera angles to work, for you to be able to see your character. But I don't know, it feels a bit odd. All right, stupid enchanted weapons. Alright. So now Olivia should have joined the party. She did. Good. So now we have our three Necros. We should be able to push on with the main story in Nightfall now. So we got our two. Oh, Norgu's not running an optimized build here. There you go. Alright, so let's run a nice little Discord build, I think is my plan. So Necro 1 and Necro 2 and Necro 3. And then 2 Mesmers, Vec as a healer, and then whatever else you want. Let's run it with... I think I need to bring anyone I don't want to. I almost want to bring Koss because I want him to have something to kick Shiro out of his stance when the time comes. So let's go to Embark Beach. So I wonder what people are still playing besides PvP in Guild Wars 1. You know, so kind of asking you guys, you know, besides watching me play Guild Wars 1, what's your interaction with Guild Wars 1 nowadays? Do you help guildies in Guild Wars 2 get their Hall of Monument stuff? Are you like Odoo and you haven't really played it even though you own it? Are you, you know, like what are you guys doing in Guild Wars 1? Alright, let's go to the Realm of Torment. We're going to the, I think it's the Gate of Madness, isn't it? Yeah, and this is where we gotta go. Alright, so let's give Cause. Apparently I had Axe Mastery of him. Yeah, what was that? Oh, it was random. Okay, so we're gonna give Cause a different kind of build. We want him to have pretty much the same build, but we want him to have Shove as the elite. So like I'm okay with him having this build right here. What I want him to have instead is, where is Shove? Is Shove a strength? It's right here. Target touched foe is knocked down. If that foe was moving, the foe... Oh, he's not going to be moving. So we need to give him something like Wild Blow instead. Loses all adrenaline. If hits, this attack will result in a critical hit, and any stance being used by the target will end. And this cannot be blocked. So we're going to put this in here, and we're going to give it to myself as well. Yeah. Just so that we can knock Shiro out of his stance. Ugh. What we haven't done, let's look at Livia. Does she have a decent equipment on? Nah. It should be fine. It should be fine, just like this. Oh man. I'm not looking forward to this mission. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to have my Lightbringer title on, aren't I? There we go. We are ready. Like I said earlier, this was one of those missions where someone had to walk me through this. I was just... There are tricks to playing this mission if you don't have. It is a painful mission playthrough. I mean, granted, when I played through some of the other stuff, factions and prophecies, there were missions that, you know, had a similar feel to that, you know, if you don't have help, they can be hard. So part of the Discord build I'm running, the idea is that it's very, along with the Mesmers, it's a lot of denial. It's a denial armor, ignoring damage. You know, kind of its purpose is just to stop especially the casters from doing anything. Also, the Discord guys tend to self-heal, so I don't need to worry about that too much. Vec can, you know, focus on just whoever and heal on them. And I'm not running the ideal build right now. So that's Scotland. I haven't played this in years, and I'm going to play it again now. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. I mean, when you watch somebody else play something that you haven't played in a while, you tend to remember it and go, oh man, I love that part of the game, or oh fuck, I really enjoyed doing this or that or the other. Like, one of my favorite things to do in this game is 55 Monk. I don't know why. I really enjoyed it. Hmm. It looks like I'm hesitating is because I can't remember if it's left or right. Like, see, I reinstalled Guild Wars 2, and I'm kind of going back to that, but I mean, this is always my first love. It's a simple game. I mean, it's a lot simpler than Guild Wars 2. I'm gonna say that right up front. The armor, the weapons, the weapon mods, the general gameplay mechanics, all of this is way simpler in this game than in Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2, much more complex, much more complicated game. You know, there's dodging, there's where you are in combat. You know, placement is important. In this, you know, this body blocking, I guess, if we don't want to talk about that, there's, you know, the build mechanics, because you have heroes. It has its own level of complexity, but they are extremely distinct games. Ah, oh, Mystic Regeneration, you bastards. Little dervish bastards. I think because of the mission Grand Court of Sibakal, I was actually quite afraid of Torment Claws for a long time. Like, those things traumatized me. The build mechanism is what I like the most about number 1. Well, what do you mean the build mechanism? Like the fact that you have 8 skills and that you can change them out, and that there's a lot of skills in the game, and it's trying to get everything to meld together. Is that what you mean? Because I'll explain another game that I feel is similar to this one for that mechanic, for the fact that you have pop-ups. So in this game you have limited attribute points. You can't spend them everywhere. Like, you'll never have enough to get all your stats up to max. So, for example, on this character, swordsmanship and strength have to be maxed out, and then that leaves me with just a few points to put in somewhere else. Yeah, doing infinite different combinations of skills. So then you go, okay, well, I've figured out I want swords and I want this. Okay, now what skills? So everything has to be built around an elite. And then there's limitations on top of that. You're only allowed 3 PvE skills. Okay, what else do I do? Like, how do my heroes interact with this build? What equipment do I need? Do I need more adrenaline, less adrenaline? It's maximizing finite resources. Because if you play, like I've played a lot of Fallout 4, you can get every perk in the game because there's no level cap anymore, right? Alright, so I need to kill these guys, then I need to retreat, if memory serves. If memory serves. I can't move. I can't move. But if you like this kind of making the most of limited resources, I highly recommend MechWarrior Online. Because you go, okay, my mech has 50 tons. And I can only put so much armor on it, and I can only put this big of an engine in it. and then that uses up so much weight. I can only put these weapons on these arms. You know what I mean? So you end up with having to maximize those limited resources. But the way that I always played this game of, you know, infinite combinations was you make a general build, a build that you like, a build you understand. Of course, well, good. It's a free-to-play game, so you have nothing to lose, really. I mean, if you play it and you go, ah, fuck, this is too slow and not my style. It's like a tank shooter. Meh. You get rid of it. What I liked about that, about the evolution of MechWarrior Online is, when you start the game, they give you so much in-game money that you can buy any mech you want right off the bat. So within 25 matches, you can afford anything, and that allows you a tremendous amount of freedom. You get to try out new things. You get to, and so, okay, so here, if memory serves, you have to flag your heroes far away. And then you have to start going up here. And then I'll see text. So then you run away. Then the gate opens. And then out walks a whole bunch of Shiro stuff. Then we should see it climb out over. I see something over there, but I can't tell what it is. What is that? I didn't see them go by, did you? Okay, they must have gone by because I can see the Shikurin stuff over there. Okay, so let's go. What is that hero doing? Alright, we should probably eat more consumables. Alright, so now we enter the area. The door is supposed to close behind us. Alright, so now we begin this section. Okay, good. Let's start with this one. Yeah, but I'm a strong believer in one general build that does, you know, everything pretty good, and then whenever you can, for special missions, you alter it. Or, yeah, if you're in a mood to play something different, of course you can. But I prefer the build that does a little bit of everything, rather than having to specialize my build constantly. That's just a no-go for me. It's just annoying. And as Mike pointed out, he said the problem with you starting the game out and somebody giving you some elite warrior tomes right off the bat and some regular warrior tomes is you know you're just gonna want to play you know you're just going to do this, what do you call it, 100 Blades, because it's a great general build. There's no reason to move away from it. I think I want to back out of this fight a little bit, just a little bit. Let's back out of the fight, because I'm getting my ass handed to me here. Just back away. Let half my characters die. I don't want to redo this map at all. Okay. What can I use here? Let's use this for one. Alright guys, come back. Now let's res my team. Well, tell me none of my guys have reses. Which is quite possible. Which would be a huge oversight on my part. Especially since the other day I complained about that. I don't want to start over. Makes me think I should have used that consumable earlier, because I got my ass handed to me here. Alright, Vec, do you have... No, you don't. Elias, what do you have? No. Norgu, no, no. Just no and no. And there ain't no way we're gonna finish this like this. I don't think I have any items that can fix that. I mean, yay, reducing DP, but... Alright, let's restart this map and let's give ourselves some fucking rezzing ability. I knew I should have brought something to res people. Let's see what skills we can sacrifice to the res gods. The Koss has one. Livia has flesh of my flesh. You need something. Oh, you are so useless. I almost feel like not taking him and taking just a regular healer instead. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's take good old Ogden here. Yeah, I goofed up Panzer Vorgo. Absolutely. Let's see now. Mend condition. Here's a weird build. I should put something else. No, that's my Ogden build. I'm not gonna bring a Smite Link. What about Dunkoro? What's Dunkoro got? Just a plain old Resurrect. Okay, I'll bring him then. Livia, yeah, you're good. What can I swap out here? I'm gonna take out Power Drain and give her a Resurrection Signet instead. And I'm gonna take out... I have to leave something. Okay, that should be enough. And I should give myself something. Let's take... Watch Yourself out. And give myself... There you go. Now, if all else fails, I want to be able to actually resurrect some. There we go. So, Reset button. Let's do this again. Where's my, where's the quest start? There we go. Oh, lagging. Lagging. Look at this. Slow to a crawl. Come on, game. Come on. At least this time we know exactly where we're going. You know? And we're going to speed this up a bit. We're going to use these. But these lag spikes are crazy. What's going on? You can see my character just keeps slowing to a crawl for no reason. And then, where are the pop-ups? Are they here? No? Always satisfying to watch them just not be able to cast any spells and just die. And another lag spike. I'm showing green here in an FPS of 60. Like, I don't understand what's going on. And I'm looking at my the stream information, and it's showing everything coming in green. There's no issues whatsoever. It's almost as if the server is slowing down. And again, somebody actually did mention the other day that they were having troubles with Guild Wars 1. And out of nowhere they were getting slowdowns. And another lag spike. I have a feeling this is going to happen to me a lot. No, stream's still uploading at a decent pace. And I'm still green lit over here. I hated these Titans the first time I encountered them. It's bad enough that people don't like the sound that the roller beetles make. And you have to remember, I had no connection to these guys when I got here in Eye of the North, because I hadn't played Prophecies yet, and so these guys would show up in Prophecies that break down into smaller. Like, this was all new to me. Alright, no more of those guys to kill. Sometimes when I play, my henchmen teleport in ticks. Goes away after a while. It's only been happening recently. Game is weird. You know what? I think it has to do with the fact that they're reducing the amount of servers dedicated to this game, and that what we're seeing is just them not having the processing power anymore to run that many people playing. So you're getting slowdowns. I could be wrong. Trying to think how I'm going to defeat Abaddon if we end up getting that far. Because he's not a tough fight, he's just an odd fight. Just like this one. This one's not a tough mission. It's an odd one with Shiro. Alright, so that's done. So do we need to fight these guys down here? No, we don't. So let's flag our heroes there. Let's push forward. You are fools to come here. What can mere mortals do against the power of a god? So I'm going to stand a bit closer because I actually want to see them come out. There they go. I don't even know why we avoid this fight. This fight isn't particularly hard that I know of, but I've never done it because I was always told to do this. Alright, this time I'm going to stand like right here to start the fight with whatever it is. I think it's right here. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. There we go. Don't heal them, you bastard. Yeah. I feel this fight's a lot easier now. In part because we have the consumable, but also because we started it quicker and hit up all the enemies all at once. The ones that roam off into the middle, so we're not having to fight a roaming enemy. No, I'm not dealing with you, big ugly titan. Let's finish off these portal wraiths. There we go. Now the Markanites. Armageddon Lord. Alright, good progress. Next. Okay, good. I am taking just an odd amount of damage right now. Alright, do I have Koss on guard? Okay, good. I have to make sure I can trigger his wild blow when I need to. Alright, memory serves. We go in, we ignore Shiro, wipe out the Undead Lich. Then we have a choice. We can get all the, whatever they're called, the temples, but it's unnecessary. But I don't know if this character can kill Shiro. Because when Shiro goes into his fucking impossible odds, it's gonna be a pain. Alright, let's try to kill Shiro. Hits, is it 50% or is it 25? There we go. Now we have to get him out of this stance. Get him, get him, get him, get him. And now he does it again. Where's Cause? Cause, do the skill. Alright, Cause, whenever it's up, use it. Yeah, this goes back to what I was saying. How close is Shura to death? Pretty close, okay. Let's get him out of the stance. Then he does it again. Hit him again. Yes! Done. Abaddon, there we go. Who do I talk to? You. Rally your heroes. Alright. Do I need anything special here? I don't even have rank 3 of Lightbringer. Man, there's no one here. Discord, if I don't even remember if Discord works here. Alright, you know what? Let's fucking forget all that. I kept thinking that this was going to be way harder and way longer to get here. I apparently don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so why don't I just do it? Yeah, Wild Blow. Yeah, sure, that'll be totally useful. Yeah, I remember the dance thing. We have a dance off against Abaddon and he kills you. It's a good thing I did have a survivor character. I remember one of our guildies didn't want to come with me on the first time I came here because he knew that they were going to make me dance there and have everybody get killed. Alright, here we go. Alright. I don't have Pain Inverter, but... Oh man, I'm not doing the amount of damage I thought I'd be doing at this stage. Alright, we gotta back out. I just remember a lot of energy drain, being knocked down a lot. If you had planned for it, you get your ass handed to you. I think it's Pain Inverter. That you can put on him and basically finish the match like immediately. Because when he knocks down the entire enemy, the entire team, every bit of damage he does counts. I shouldn't have brought Koss. Koss is pretty useless. I should have brought something that does damage. Right, let's back out. It's not that I was unimpressed with this fight, I just... The previous mission was so hard the first time I played it that I was expecting this one to be infinitely tougher. And this one can be tough. It's not that this one is necessarily, you know, very easy. It's just nowhere near as difficult as the last one with Shiro. Which, if you haven't planned to take out his impossible odds, can do a lot of damage. Alright, let's back out. I don't know if it was necessary to back out previously when we did these fights. I just remember doing it. Like, this is one of those things where nostalgia kind of takes over, and you play the mission the same way you always did, despite the fact that probably because of the meta, because of the fact that you have PvE skills, because of the way you've built your heroes. You don't need to, because I'm using consumables. You know, there might be a better way of doing this where, like, oh, don't back out. Like, have them kill the monoliths immediately. Or one of the things I didn't do before the going back and replaying the game as I am now was go through and reread the wiki. Because I remember when I did most missions the first time, I did not use the wiki. We just did it. And come on. There's Cormyr coming. This was probably one of the most confusing, boring endings to a video game. Because, like, this wasn't explained beforehand, I felt.
Only a mortal can make.
Cormyr?
No. Yes, Cormyr. And much more.
Abaddon?
No. His power, his knowledge, but not him. His will is broken. There is a new god of secrets. There is a new day. Nightfall has come and gone. I have much to do. Much must be repaired. This will take you home, or to wherever you desire.
Cormyr, if you need help,
Yes, yes, I will. But for the moment, you have your world back. The gods spoke the truth. It is your world. Use it wisely.
Of course.
And remember, my friend, you never fight alone.
Dun dun dun. Man, I remember the rewards being much higher. I didn't realize it was just like 200 gold. I thought it was like 2k they gave you when you finished missions. I was happy with this though when I got to this place and saw that you could like run around and you know that the credits started coming up and you could see like all the like I didn't know who any of these people were really, but I liked the hey look, you know, like a procession of heroes. I thought that was pretty awesome. Um, and then somebody was telling me, oh yeah, make sure you grab the quests. I was like, what quests? So here you can grab Margaret, Jin. There's Gorin up here. And since we finished Nightfall so quickly, I think one of the things we'll do is we're going to finish these quests tonight. We're going to go get these heroes unlocked. This is something that I spent a long time thinking about what I should do, what item I should get. So you're the one that gives me the book, right? Is it you? You're the one that gives me the book? Who gives me the book? Or do I already have it in my inventory and I didn't pay attention? Yeah, I have a book of secrets. Okay, sweet. So now I can figure out what I want. We should probably equip our hero as we go through and get items so that we go, okay, see, I finished Nightfall on this character, so he gets a reward. He gets a sword. So let's look at steel. So there we go. Forgotten sword. So let's get that. Let's put that on our character. This goes into equip. It's not the nicest skin in the world, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's okay. Let's go get some good stats. And that's what we're going to use. And then when we finish factions, we'll get a shield. And then we can finish prophecies and be like, yeah, we're decked out with the items of having completed the game. I forget where this sends us. Oh, you have to talk to him first to request to leave. Yes. And then we're back at Spamadan. So there you go. There's Nightfall for you.
Elona.
Land of the Golden Sun. I think that went really well. I think that was a really good review of this campaign. I love Istan more than anything else, and it's too bad that it's underutilized, I think. But let's go get, which hero do we want to get first? Let's go in order. Let's go get Jin. I think some of these we literally have to talk to someone and we get them, so. Buying mats, iron tan hides, Elonian leather. MMOGamerMarket.com. I haven't seen a lot of guilds trying to recruit people. Alright. Hello, Field General. Alright, Jin's joined the party, so that wasn't hard. Next, let's get Margaret. How are we getting Margaret? Where are we going? Nundu Bay. Mike recommended we get Raza and the Ritualist people. I don't remember how to do all of those. Raza requires me to fight in the arena, and I don't have the build yet. So that's going to be probably for tomorrow. For today, let's keep getting our heroes, getting decked out. Alright, let's go get Goran now. What's the apostate? Escort the apostate while he retrieves his writings. A lot of quests here we haven't completed. Oh man, they're not level 20 at all. I think that's a bit of an oversight. I think if you get these heroes, they should be maxed out right off the bat. Like, I don't understand what the attraction is to you get a hero unlocked and he's got nothing. Okay, well I don't even know what to give him. Let's give him Barrage, I guess. I don't know. Her. What's a nice set of armor? The non-elite Templar armor. I actually loved that helmet for quite a while, and I think this was one of the sets of armor I wore. Before I got the elite Templar armor on my main character. Oh, they did bring me up to level 3 Lightbringer. I should go unlock that skill in the Chantry of Secrets after we get Goran. See, it's little things like that that just add up. Little tweaks to the game and little tweaks to your character that build you up, that aren't just raw damage, or aren't just, you know, I have more hit points, or I have more this or that or the other. I like those little, like getting my armor infused. At the moment, I don't have infused armor. I forget what character it was on, but I went out and I got a new set of armor, and then I was helping somebody on a Mersat mission in Prophecies, and I had completely forgotten about infusion, and I got hit with Spectral Agony, and my health bar just disappeared. I was like, what is going on? And especially since some of the Mersat missions are in lower level areas, right? They're not... yeah, and it just wiped me completely. I said, oh god, I don't have infusion done. So I had to go back and get infused. I'll also have to remember to get my bar fixed, because I don't need Wild Blow and Resurrect anymore. Now I'm curious how fast we made it through Nightfall, how fast we're going to make it through Factions. Because I always remember Factions being faster than Nightfall. Worst performance ever. Scorched Earth. What are these? Oh yeah, these are the missions for trade contracts. And we're not going to do these, but let's go to the Kodash Bazaar just because I love the Kodash Bazaar. Let's replace our 100 Blades build. Let's get rid of this. Let's put in Swordsmanship, Strength, and this time I won't accidentally put anything into Axe Mastery, and then Whirlwind Attack. So yeah, so that's pretty much done. Now we have poor Acolyte Jin. Well, let's go down memory lane. Let's go grab the treasures, or at least one or two of them, that we didn't get through this playthrough, which normally I would never miss because Like, this was something I did every month on about, I think when I really discovered them, like I needed money, I forget for what. And I did every buried treasure and major treasure in this game for about 5 or 6 characters. I want to say it's 5. But I would go out once a month, and I had like written down like it's been 30 days now, and I would go, and later on when I kind of knew what I was doing more, I would always bring Morgan, and Morgan would have incoming and another skill, Paragon skill, and we would just run. Let's grab a chest here. Let's as pointless as this is. I'm gonna have to go to the merchant later and sell all this garbage that we've been picking up. Oh, I went the wrong way, and now I have to fight something. Damn it. We're still missing our Lightbringer skill. So we managed to finish Nightfall without any Lightbringer. Just the title. Oh man. That shows you the advantage, I guess, of the more meta stuff. You got buried treasure. Now the first time you get them, it always gives you the most amount of money, right? So 2.5 plat and a portal staff. Alright, let's kill this boss. Give me your green, give me your green. Ooh, 222 gold. Ooh, would it tell me how little of the map we ended up exploring, despite the fact that we finished? Elonian Exploration title, 46.3%. So we saw less than half the map. Granted, if we zoom over here, most of that is at the Desolation. I mean, this whole area here, and Mike was complaining about this yesterday, is just, it's just wasted, kind of, because you never go there. And there's this whole area, which you only see in a mission. I didn't even go into the area. I don't even know what it's called at this point. But now we're going to go to the, I believe it's the Forum Highlands. We really should have a ranger build, and I don't have one. So let's swap characters. Let's go to my main. Let's load up one of my rangers here. Margaret. What's Margaret running? She's got a barrage build on, so let's save that. And at the same time, let's look at what other ranger hero do I have? She's not even level 20. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Char. And he's got a broadhead arrow build, so let's save that. I sometimes forget about that stuff. Alright, so let's go back to the other character. I think Barrage, a low-level Barrage would probably be fine. Let's go out and... Well, why was this skill blocked? What is this? Draw a spirit, teleport target allied spirits to your location. Yeah, it's blocked there. That looks like it was built for Orgros Warren or something. Alright, let's go out into the Forum High... No, we should go from T-Hark Orchard into the Forum Highlands. Let's go get that Djinn. That Djinn-infested cracked pot or whatever it is. Get some items. See if we can't level up Djinn a couple of times here. And then we're gonna start abandoning some of these Istan quests that we never did. Realm of Torment, meh. But we do need Raza, and I'm fucking. Isn't she in like TOA or something? I want to say that's where she is. I have to say, the first time I played this campaign, I don't think I hit more than 60% exploration. So right now we're not far off how it was the first time I played this campaign. What's also shocking is that when I played through it, I remember it didn't take very long before I started helping other people through it. I don't know what it is about this game that is simple enough that once you've done something once, you're not an expert. No, absolutely not. But at least you can show other people how to do it. You know, there's one thing I learned about this game was how to help people after I had, done something once. I think I did the deep twice before I started teaching other people how to run it. Same thing with 55 Monking. I mean, it's one of those things where I did it, and then after that helped 5 or 6 guild members create their own 55 Monks. It's too bad I can't do that in Guild Wars 2. Really enjoyed that in Guild Wars 1, helping people, advance in the game. And Mike was in part complaining about the German benefactors that on the first or second episode came in and gave me a whole bunch of items and a whole bunch of money. But I mean, from their perspective, that's probably what they love to do. They have all this gold and all these resources and nothing to spend it on. And I'm guessing that they don't have new recruits that come in and need those items. So when they see somebody playing the game that needs help, they're just like, hey, that guy needs help, let's just give him some money. That makes sense. I hate the fucking Griffins. And I don't understand why they're monks. Sometimes you can kind of see why an enemy is a certain class, and you can think, okay, well that makes sense, I get that. Oh, it's this thing made out of molten lava, I wonder what he is. Oh look, he's an Ellie. That is so surprising. It's like, no, that's not. But a Griffin being a monk? I don't get it. See, my pygmy is up. I've seen it go into the orange here, but I'm not experiencing the same weird lags I was experiencing earlier. That's good. This has got to be the weirdest combination, and one of the hardest. Like this, there's a boss here, isn't there? Yeah, this guy. Oh man, I remember this hurting so much. I'm gonna give it a go, but I remember this guy hurting really bad. What was it? Is it? Oh, it's Syrian Flames. That's what he's doing. Yeah, he's wiped out half my team. No. Come on. Come on. Die. Yes. He defeated me, but he's dead. So that's a win in my books. Yeah, that Searing Flames is painful. All right, now we should be able to clear out the ethers. I don't hate Roaring Ethers, but I found their ability to drain energy very frustrating. I thought they looked pretty cool though. I think it's an eye. Is it Eye of the North that we encounter more of these sapphire gins? And they're absolutely brutal with their dirty skills. Just absolutely brutal. Alright. So we've cleared these guys out. Now we need to go up here. Oh. Pick a time. Stupid fucking tomorrow. Yeah. So again, because I didn't reboot my computer yesterday, the computer was like, you need to reboot your computer right now. Immediately after the stream I have to reboot because I don't want that shit happening again. So I need middle of streaming factions. Alright, do not touch. This is another one of those moments where my guild kind of betrayed my trust and brought me here and said, hey, just touch it. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Huzzah. Okay, what's the last one I want to get? Let's go back to the Realm of Torment. If I could remember where it is. I want to say the Gate of Madness. No, it's not this far in. Gate of Torp? This is where we came in, right? No, it's not this one. Gate of Fear? Into the Domain of Pain. They only come out at night. The Jajaran Estates, completely useless. A little recon. Cult of the Stone Face. Rising Suns. Decayed Monument. Should get revenge on these bastards for killing me the first time. So we're gonna keep that quest. I want to go back there and teach them a lesson. Is it the Domain of Pain? Is this where I want to go? Nope, that's not it. Gate of Secrets. Sometimes it's so difficult to remember like what area is connected to what. No, it's not this one. I cannot for the life of me. Oh man, this is bad. Alright, let's go hand in this quest and then do the Cornin quest that they killed me on last time. I'm upset about that. Alright, so where do we hand this in? Let's go to Embark Beach, I guess. And Northern Travel, and we're going to go to the Eye of the North. We're going to go to the Shiver Peaks, Eye of the North.
You honor me. How can I help?
Mananorn. Sure.
Welcome, friend.
Yeah, I'll take that quest. I'm not going to do it now, but yay. And now we get to do this Cornin mission. Where is it? Decayed Monuments. Yeah. So let's get rid of some of our heroes because we can't take all of them. Let's go back to Kemadan. I found this. I think I prefer Guild Wars 2's method of dealing with now that you're at a higher level. When you go back down to a lower level, you know, it decreases your strength or whatever. Yeah, I think it's kind of cheap that you can come back here and just wipe the floor with all the enemies. But it was still a lot of fun though to finish the game and be able to come back with, you know, everything level 20 and pretty much wipe the floor with anything in the area. Which is why hard mode was so essential when it came out. Oh, so we'll take our revenge on these enemies who killed us last time. Which I think was just a bunch of scales, if memory serves. So we died here in episode 1, and I was very annoyed. So we'll go back and take our revenge. I don't remember what level these guys were. I knew they were like 10 and 15, weren't they? They weren't level 20. They were like 10 and 15. It's funny. The other day I was thinking about why in Guild Wars 2 they went up forward 250 years. Part of one of the things that was really fun about Guild Wars 1 is they added those the books, those like history books, where you could go back and play the origin of like Gwen or the origin of other characters. You could go back and replay a battle of a famous hero. I found that really interesting, and it made me think of how bad would it have been if in Guild Wars 2, rather than go forward in time, we did the opposite. We went back in time and we replayed, the first humans arriving, or the fall of war, or, you know what I mean? Like, how fascinating would that be? I think that'd be pretty interesting. Because I feel like going forward 250 years kind of just resets the whole thing. And you're no longer invested in the areas, you're no longer invested in the characters. Alright, what's it say now? See Radiant for your reward. Where is he? I don't see him. Maybe he's surrounded by these people. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Revenge. Let's pick up the gold. But I think it would have been more interesting if Guild Wars 2 had gone into the past, and we had seen the origin of a whole bunch of stuff and fleshed out things that were in the lore in the past, rather than going forward and turning everything that we did here and muddling it and forgetting it and not making it more interesting. Anyways, so that's episode 7. So thanks you guys for coming out and watching on Twitch. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. So we're done with Nightfall for the most part. We might go back for a few little things like Xandra and other little quests, and to explore parts that are more end game. For sure, going back and doing like Dasha Vestibule was something that I didn't do until I think Eye of the North came out, until I started like title hunting. So that kind of stuff's going to come back. But again, to kind of keep it in the order that I did it the first time, and for this to really be a nostalgia series, we're going to do it that way. which means when we go back to Eye of the North after Prophecies, we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the story at first, and then we're going to branch off to the dungeons rather than doing the dungeons as we find them. Right, so that's it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.